So Sinead, in your experience, what are some of the most impactful ways that you've seen tech be more inclusive?
Yeah, so I think in these kind of fast-growing environments, it's super important to take on a view and a mindset where you're looking at how you scale equitable processes. Because ultimately, when you're growing at a rapid pace, things are constantly changing. You have moments where things aren't going to be standardized. And that's where you see these pockets of experiences that are not inclusive or where people are feeling like they're being marginalized in the workplace. So really focusing on how you can scale and having an overlay of equity and inclusion as part of that is really, really key. How about for you? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, at least in my experience, I've worked in startups from seed all the way to Series F and scale-up companies. And the one factor that always remains is if people aren't thinking about how to build diversity and inclusion into the core of their business from the very beginning, it becomes an afterthought and it doesn't scale as effectively.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the things we spoke about in the chapter that we wrote was kind of how much representation kind of matters and plays a huge part in building those inclusive workplaces. So what's your thoughts on how the diversity and inclusion, which are often two very different things, kind of how they intersect?
Oh, wow. That is, that is a great question. I think representation matters and you have to think about diversity and inclusion across multiple different facets. It's not focusing on one particular metric or one particular group. You need to ensure inclusion and diversity at all levels of the business, looking at it from multiple different angles and making sure that you're not overrepresented in your more entry-level roles and making sure that management is as equally diverse as the entry-level roles are.
Yeah, I love it. And I think the leadership piece, actually, we talk about that a little bit, right? Yeah. Where you need this mindset for scaling, you need this representation across the whole business, particularly in leadership positions, and to make sure that your leaders are active, listening, engaging, and are taking a holistic approach to baking in this kind of inclusion first mindset.
Yeah. Do you feel like D&I is sometimes seen as more of a fluffy topic that isn't core to what a fast-paced scale-up is building?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've done D&I roles, I've done more broad scoping roles, and in kind of Series D, Series C, Series A companies, and often because it gets bucketed as this people team specific thing, it can fall by the wayside as someone else's responsibility or be all about feelings. And because it is about how people experience the workplace, but people miss out on this crucial step, which is the ultimate aim and ambition for these fast growth tech companies is to build the most high performing, fastest scaling organizations with the best possible talent. And the way to unlock all of those things is to help people show up as they are, help them navigate the workplace in the best way that they can, and perform to a high standard. And you can only do that when you're not weighed down by the worries and concerns that you're experiencing day to day and those microaggressions that you might face day in, day out.
Yeah, completely. And I think, there's so many studies that we can cite showing how more diverse and representative organizations perform better and they have a better financial performance as well. What are some ways that you think that companies can do better, or is there a silver bullet or a quick fix?
There's no quick fix. Everyone goes for the low-hanging fruit, the quick fixes, but really this is about long-term planning, holistic views, mindset shifts that are baked into the day-to-day, and having specific targets, interventions, and initiatives that are driving these intentional activities. And I think that's the only way you can do it, and keep building for equality and building equitable, scalable processes, and you'll get there. But there is no one-hit wonder.